Hey, welcome to another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. Glad you guys could be here. Very, very lucky to doing a tequila show today, which I know is rare for us. This is our third tequila show, so that's pretty cool. So we got this, I guess, in the ball, the first one, then we'll go on. You guys don't really care what I think, but we do care about this Cambio. Beautiful tequila here. Of course, we're going to start with the Blanco. I'm going to turn it all over to you and let you tell them all about yourself, your background, all those fun things, and why you're here.
So my name is John Rosiers. I'm the founder and creator of Cambio Tequila. I've been a lifelong chef and sommelier. I've been working as a chef since I was 15 years old. Worked in some really amazing restaurants in the country, and I own 6 places just north of Chicago.
Nice.
About a half an hour north. So I married into a Mexican Catholic family about 10 years ago.
Good job.
Which means I inherited 90 first cousins.
That's awesome.
Which sounds like a joke, but we actually have 92. So, and I'm
really
from a French.
Yeah,
I did a
count. I had a lot. I had like 26 as a kid, Catholic Bohemians. Shit, 90. Wow. 90
I counted them at a barbecue once. There were cousins that they thought they were just friends and didn't know that they were really
related.
Cousins. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
It was great. It's a big family. But about half of our family lives in Chicago, and half lives down in Mexico in a town called Arandas.
Okay.
It's about 2 hours east of Guadalajara up in the mountains.
Okay.
So one of my cousins called me 6 years ago now and asked if I'd come down and look at creating, a new style of tequila, something that honored tradition and heritage, but also had some different ideas and kind of a new way forward. She was doing a project for somebody she was working for, and this agave farmer wanted to explore, kind of creating tequila. So we went down and toured a whole bunch of different distilleries, and I spent a lot of time kind of watching the way everybody does it. And I asked a lot of questions. And I started to kind of write down my ideas of how I thought that we would make something different. Okay. And the process is really the thing that we spend a lot of time on. One of the things we like to say is that the way you make tequila matters. And there's a number of different techniques that you can use for making it, but there are really 4 things that are traditional.
Okay.
And these things are brick ovens, Tahona pressing all the fibers and plants.
Okay.
Wood fermentation, and copper stills. Okay. So those 4 things are really the foundational, traditional bedrock of making tequila. Okay. And really all the changes that are more modern, things like autoclaves and roller mills and diffusers, those are all modern techniques that all lead to faster production or cheaper production, depending on which method you're looking at. But really, for me, the traditional methods were really important.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we decided to build our entire brand around it. Okay. There's roughly 5 brands in America where every drop of their tequila is made only using those 4 traditional pieces. Wow. It's us, Fortaleza, Tesoro, Santaleza, and Alto Canto. Okay. I know that I'm sure that I'm forgetting a couple of other small ones, but the point is it's a really, really small number of brands. And unlike whiskey, which is really about its barreling and its technique of aging and its time and things like that, and its blending, or about gin, which is all about its botanicals, or vodka, which is how much you can make it taste like water. It's
you're not wrong.
So tequila really is about the base spirit itself, and the way you make it has a large impact on that spirit. And I think that it's not something that everybody talks about very much.
Yeah, agreed.
It's something that, with all of the different marketing around tequila, it's something that gets pushed aside and ignored. Certainly, there aren't a lot of brands that talk about their tradition and how they follow tradition and use things that way, because they don't really have the same kind of story to talk about that a small number of us do.
So, what is the definition? Just what is tequila? Like, what's the governing rules? What does tequila have to be called tequila?
So, it has to be made. It has to be made where the plants come from a recognized source.
Okay.
I think there's at least 5. There might be 7 or 8 states or parts of states that are certified to grow agave that can be turned into tequila. Okay. That has to be a specific type of agave plant. It has to be blue Weber agave.
Okay.
It can only be made from that one. So it's got to be from a certain place. It's got to be from a certain plant.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't by law have to be made from 100% agave to be called tequila. It can actually be a mixto, which is 50% agave, at least 50%, and then the rest of it can be made from sugarcane or other sweeteners to ferment. But so it can still be called tequila, even though it isn't actually made all from agave.
Okay.
It's kind of like how in America, Pinot Noir only has to be 75 or 80% Pinot Noir to be called Pinot Noir. Same idea. But generally, all high quality tequilas are made only from agave. Okay. No cheating. There's some brands that are in trouble right now because they cheated.
We're not going to mention those brands, but we all have heard about them, and so we're glad you're not doing any of those horrible things.
So really, it's just, and then the plants take anywhere between 6 to 8 years to become fully mature.
Okay.
That's one of the things a lot of Americans don't really realize, that you basically get one harvest a decade out of agave from a farm, because once you harvest an 8-year-old plant, you've got to put a couple of years of new crops to regenerate the soil. So you really get one good planting every 10 years.
So you have to wait, and then you can eat, or you can replant the agave.
Yep. Again.
Wow, that's wild. Hey Don, good to see you there up in Canada. So no, I was telling him before the show that the first question is it available in Canada? Sadly, not yet.
It will be. We're still a pretty young brand. We launched about 15 months ago.
Okay.
So we launched in Illinois, which is our first state. We're in Illinois, Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Arizona, Colorado, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida right now.
Okay, so you're pretty decent.
So a good amount of places. Obviously, we sell everything online too.
Yeah, as my next question, you can probably get it online if you're not one of those states.
And we are looking at in the next week or so here. We should be able to actually ship it to Canada. We've got a new online fulfiller.
Sweet.
And they do actually ship stuff up there now. So
awesome.
And that'll be great because
open a week.
It has not been available yet. So that'll be a new one.
That'll be fantastic. Yeah. All righty. So why the name of the brand?
So. We talk a lot about tradition and process and how we make it, but really the brand is named Cambio, which means change. It's named that because we looked at this traditional process of creating tequila, and then we thought every step along the way, could this step be done a little bit differently? Could we get more flavor? Can we get more aromatics?
Sure.
Can we develop better texture? What are some things that we could change along the way to try to make it more expressive, make it more aromatic? And so we spent a lot of effort looking at that traditional process, and we went everything from how it's harvested and farmed to the way that the plants are cooked. You take the raw plants out of the field; they're cut down by crews. They're named jimadores. Those are the people that, and that's a multi-generational. It's a multi-generational field that's passed down from grandson.
So it's kind of like Cooper's Art and whiskey. It's a lot of that. Okay.
It's really neat. Cool. So most of the humidors that work for our brand are third and fourth and fifth generation.
Jeez, wow.
So it's a really, really important thing, and it's a very, very difficult thing to do really well because the plants are cut by hand. You have to take this 8-foot wide plant and shave down all the leaves on the outside to get to the piña and the heart of it.
Okay.
And then that piece has to be shaved the right way. And if you shave too much off or too little, it actually affects the way your tequila tastes later.
Oh, wow.
You leave more of that green stem on there, it'll taste more like herbs and menthol and green notes.
Okay.
If you shave more of it off, you'll just get kind of the honey agave notes inside.
Okay. So the next question, of course, he wants to know is which province, when it goes to Canada, where's it going? Which province is going to get it online?
So I'm not sure yet. We're still working on it. But the goal is that that in the next couple of weeks here, when we can ship it to Canada, we'll ship it everywhere. So we'll be able to ship to the whole country.
All right. So hopefully to Ontario, then that would be good since that's where you live. And then Bourbon Barley, good to see you there. But if not, I'll find out where it's going for you for sure. So you can get some. All right. So I know we're starting here with the Blanco. This smells amazing. So I know we want Bo here. We're talking all sorts of wild things. We got to talk about your cool methods you guys are using. That's really traditional. But no one's really ever done a lot of things you're doing now before.
There's a number of things that we figured out about tequila that nobody's ever tried before.
Okay.
And like the cooking of the very beginning, we harvest starting really early in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And we do that so that we finish mid-morning.
Okay.
And then we load up our trucks and drive to the distillery, and we load the ovens the same day that we harvest. So we actually
far apart are those?
So it depends. This year, all of the farms are pulling from are about 9,000 feet elevation, so it's really high.
Wow.
And they're 4 hours from the distillery, so we'll usually have the ovens loaded by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'll start cooking the same day. So harvesting and beginning a cook on the same day is not something I've ever seen before.
Well, that's even a thing. Yeah.
Usually, it's a 2 to 3 day process between harvesting and when it actually gets loaded to an oven.
Okay.
Between transportation and timing and things like that.
Okay.
That's one of the things we wanted to change. We wanted to see if it would make a small difference by harvesting and cooking on the same day. We found that we get a better moisture retention from doing it that way.
Interesting.
The plants don't start to dry out when they're just sitting in the field for a day or in trucks for a day or two. So that's one of the things that we started to change.
Okay. How long does it cook for in the oven?
So for us, it takes just about 4 days, and that's because we cook our agave whole. We don't cut them in half.
Okay.
So every other brand cuts agave into pieces, usually in half, sometimes in quarters.
Okay.
And then they'll load ovens and they'll cook from anywhere from 2 to 3 days in a traditional brick oven, or 8 to 24 hours in an autoclave.
Okay.
So for us, having a 4-day process is difficult. One of the things that a lot of people told us wasn't possible was that you could cook the agave whole. People ask us why, and I always tell them it's a couple of reasons. One is we get better moisture and better aroma retention. The idea is to keep flavors inside the plant, not cut them up in small pieces and let them out. I liken it to the way that you would smoke a brisket. We're in Texas, so here it makes sense. Yeah. You would never cut up your brisket in 3 small pieces and then smoke it for 24 hours, right? You'd always leave it whole.
It would be horrible. Yeah.
That's where the idea came from. That's a little bit of my chef background kind of peeking in. Is I thought, what if we cook the plants whole instead of cutting them in half?
I like it.
But it certainly is very difficult to do. We have to go through multiple temperature changes during that 4-day process, and for different lengths of time at different temperatures to cook it the right way, because you have to cook it properly. It's got to be cooked all the way through so you can extract the sugars the right way. It also has to be cooked the right way for flavor. How you cook the agave will impact the flavors and aromas you get out of it later. And that's another detail about tequila that's very different from other types of spirits. That the actual cooking of your base ingredient can change the way it's going to taste later on.
Does the type of oven itself make a big difference too?
I think it does. I think that cooking it slower and taking more time in a brick oven. Just about 9% of tequila is cooked in brick ovens. So it's a small percentage that's cooked in a traditional oven. I think that slowing down the process, giving more time for the cooking process to happen and for flavor to develop is really important. Everything you cook, whether you cook it fast or slow, you're going to have a different result. I watched somebody earlier today on YouTube that was saying that cooking something in an autoclave at 12 or 24 hours is exactly the same way, and it tastes the same way as cooking something over 3 days.
There's no way. That's not possible.
And I think that person just doesn't really understand very much about the way that a plant or a piece of meat or anything of how it cooks over time. You can certainly develop different flavors by changing the way and time and temperature that you cook things at.
Absolutely.
Cooking something inside of an autoclave does not develop the same flavor as cooking inside of a brick oven. And it doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad. That's more of a personal thing, but it certainly is going to be different. It will not be the same. So
what temperature range do you guys usually cook all this stuff?
That's totally secret.
All right. I don't know anything about it. Is it really hot, or just in generalities?
So normally
super hot is like a low, slow type.
Yeah. So the ovens are done. The ovens are basically you load the ovens. You lock everything up so that you put doors on the ovens and they're actually closed. And then you steam the plants over a long period of time. So you use steam to cook them. So and steam to heat the oven. So and then they're brick ovens. They're a foot to 2 foot thick walls. So they retain all that heat and moisture. All the heat and moisture really well.
Very cool. Now the brick ovens, are those like in the sun, like a mountain type thing, or it's like like an industrial warehouse, or like where are the ovens?
Yeah, you just build them inside of distilleries. They're literally usually they'll be a combination of like concrete base and then sometimes stone held together with mortar and then bricks.
Interesting.
And then they're closed at the top with 2 doors on either end. So 1 door for loading and 1 door for unloading on the other side. And then you take the plants and you crush the plants.
No, are they constantly running, or is it like each time was like kind of like with distillation? Each time, it's actual.
Yeah, so you open up all the valves, flood the oven with steam, flood all the elements underneath it to warm up the entire thing. Get it hot, and you cook it that way.
And how many times a week do you guys usually do that?
So our process takes 4 days to cook. So we'll do usually 1 cook per oven per week. So loading and starting and unloading, and then we'll wait a couple of days and we'll start again. Okay. So, and you cook, anywhere between 20 to 40 tons per oven.
This is pretty big.
They're huge. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That kind of time.
Yeah, I've seen 60 or 80 ton ovens as well, which are just massive.
Okay.
So those are really
do
large
you
ovens.
Stack them on top of each other, or is there like the whole thing's just stacked? It's not like there's racks or anything like that.
Yeah, there's even specialists, the guys that load the ovens.
Okay.
They have techniques for loading them really well because you want to get as much inside
Sure.
the oven as you can.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But also the way you load the oven will affect the way that the heat and the steam flows through the entire thing. That's one of the things that we had to figure out that's different than normal is how do we load an oven with whole agave?
Okay.
Because nobody has experience
ever
doing
done
it
this
before.
before,
So we had to figure out how to load it and make sure that we could get all the vapors moving through the right way and the heat moving through the right way to cook everything properly. So
okay, interesting. So it's like agave Jenga.
it's
Essentially.
agave Jenga, yeah.
So bourbon bowl. So what's the yield? I guess per bake as far as what tonnage you usually get out of it when you're.
So the way that tequila is measured is how many kilograms of agave it takes to make a liter of finished tequila.
Okay.
And that's a liter at 55%. So that's like out of the stick.
Oh, okay.
That's generally how it's measured, and everybody has a different yield. A diffuser process is the most efficient way of doing it. It makes the worst tequila, but it is the most efficient.
Okay.
Which that usually goes hand in hand, right? The fastest, cheapest way of making it is never usually the best.
Never works out that good. Yeah.
So that process will run anywhere from 3 to 4 kilograms per liter of finished tequila.
Okay.
Whereas a Tahona process runs somewhere in the 10 to 12 kilograms per liter.
What is a Tahona process?
So that's our process. So that's
that's your process. Okay.
So that is the traditional method.
Okay.
Of crushing the plants, and that's basically a volcanic stone pit with large volcanic stone wheels running around in a circle. Driven by electric motors now. In the old days, it would have been driven by a donkey.
I was like, it's probably a donkey. Yeah.
That's where the donkey comes in. So nobody uses a donkey anymore.
Probably not.
And if they have one, it's like for show. It's like to show people the way it used to be done. An electric motor is much more efficient than a donkey. So, and also more affordable.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So traditionally, you would use a Tahona to press the fibers. You add water that mixes with the fibers, and you use that to extract all the sugar and squeeze the juice out of it. But that process is inefficient, but it creates interaction between all the volcanic stone, the acids and sugars and water of the juice as you're squeezing it all interacts with that and adds more minerality to your spirit. So it's not a common way. I think there's somewhere around between 30 and 40 active Tahonas in the whole country, and that's a tiny amount. Whereas there's literally hundreds or maybe thousands of roller mills, and certainly dozens of diffusers. So so people that use Tahonas, it's a really old method. It is traditional. There is an actual flavor component to it. There's a reason for doing it that way. And so it's not common, but we think it's the best way to do it.
Hey, that's what matters. Yeah. So yes, exactly, Don. So it's a big agave convection oven. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, no fans inside, but yeah,
that's
the idea.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the ovens are, they're 25 feet tall and 25 feet deep and 25, 30 feet tall. So the larger ones are, 40 to 50 feet tall. So
can't imagine that big. It's wild.
I've only seen one person build an oven that's that tall and that scale. I'm not really sure why they built an 80-ton oven, but that's a lot. That's significant. So
yeah, that's true, Donald. You're right. Donkey show means something else thanks to Clerks too. That is true. We were a very adult show, by the way.
I can tell.
You just never know. But yes, he's also a chef up there, so that's super cool. It's cool that your chef was interested to hear about that. So your restaurant stuff, you said you have 6 of them you set up there? What kind of food do you basically
everything from they're all different.
Okay.
They all have their own unique personality and their own concept to them. So everything from contemporary American to casual American. We've got a small little Mexican spot, a really cool pizza shop that's also a wine shop.
Ooh,
so it's like a wine and spirit shop and pizza together.
Okay.
And then a tiny little micro restaurant, like a 20-seat Italian place.
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah, really neat. I like different things in different ways.
Hey,
so
we like food. We like tequila. Perfect. Yeah. So I assume all of your tequila is in all your restaurants. I would hope.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It can't be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are a bunch of there's a number of state and federal laws that prohibit you from being a manufacturer and a retailer. So we spent a lot of time and effort making sure that we did everything the right way. We followed every law that there was, and we want to make sure that the restaurants are all okay and the brand is okay. So And one of the things was, you can't have the stuff that you make inside the restaurant. So we made sure to not do that. So we don't sell it or anything there. We're really careful about it. It's important to be right.
Not worth it.
Some people have done TV shows. It happened with a family in New York. They did a TV show and they mentioned they own a winery in Italy. And the government didn't take too nicely to that. So we want to make sure that.
Good to know that.
Don't have any problems with
Don't do that then.
No. So we're very careful about it. So.
Awesome.
I'll get a phone call tomorrow from somebody now.
Yeah. Hopefully not. No, this is great. So I guess let's talk about what is Blanco tequila.
So
don't know.
The different names are actually they refer to time in barrel. Okay, so Blanco is not actually a color. So Blanco, Silver, Plata, those are all the same.
Okay.
All they mean is that it's less than 60 days in a barrel. Okay, so you can technically age a Blanco for 59 days in a barrel. You can turn it brown. And you could sell it as a Blanco that looks like a Reposado.
I didn't know you could do that.
So it's rare. It doesn't get done very often.
I'd imagine not. It's so cool.
But so Blanco's a time. It's anything that's up to 60 days in barrel, and they count it from the day that the drops hit the barrel. That's when the CRT measures the time frame. So it doesn't mean when it's distilled. It means when it goes into the barrel.
Okay.
Yep. And Blancos aren't really ever put in barrel. Ours is. We actually put ours in for 2 weeks.
Okay.
We put ours in an old used French oak barrels that we've also put our Reposado in before. We use our Reposado to condition the barrel and make the barrel more neutral so that it has a gentle influence on our tequila. So we'll do 5 or 6 runs of Reposado through barrels first, pull out color, pull out flavor, make the barrels more soft and more neutral. Then we'll put our Blanco inside for 2 weeks.
Cool.
And that's a technique that doesn't really
get done.
What
type of oak
ever.
Is it?
So we use mostly French oak for everything that we do. I've said a lot about my feeling on French oak versus American oak. American oak is traditional with tequila. Using old Jim Beam and Jack Daniel's barrels is really what's been done. I think it's done most regularly because those barrels are affordable and they're available.
Sure.
And so historically, they've always had just really cheap barrels from the large American whiskey distilleries. It doesn't mean that it's the right oak for tequila. Tequila is about finesse and delicacy and aroma. It isn't about its barrel. And so I think that the type of wood you use should be chosen that best amplifies those characteristics.
Absolutely.
And in my personal opinion, I don't think that American oak amplifies those characteristics. I think American oak is a sledgehammer. And it's meant for making really beautiful whiskeys and bourbons and ryes and all those types of things. I don't think that it's the best thing for tequila. It may be. That's one of the things where, even though we're a traditional brand, we looked at that piece of tradition and we said, is that really the best use? Is that type of wood really the best, for aging tequila with? And I think that French oak is more delicate and it supports the spirit better than American oak does.
Yeah, I've never had one that smells anything remotely like you guys stuff.
It
smells amazing.
Yeah, it's completely different. Our fermentation is also very different. We ferment at about half the temperature of normal. So most distilleries use a hot fermenting yeast. They'll use some version of a bread yeast or a beer yeast that ferments anywhere from 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a pretty warm fermentation. And we took a different approach. This is one of the things that we changed also. And this is one of the things that hasn't been done the way that we've done it before. We have 4 different types of yeast that we use that have never been in the country for anything. We bring them in the country ourselves.
That's very cool.
Nobody knows what they are. Even my wife doesn't know what the yeast is. So all the bags are marked off and we have special codes on them.
That's very cool.
But we chose yeast that promotes aromas of fruits and flowers, and also does really well with wood fermentation. In our tequila, you get the mineral component to it comes in from the water. And so we thought that we wanted to take our Highland agave and ferment it with yeast that do really well with promoting fruits and flowers and high tone aromatics. So we fermented about 45 or 50 degrees. So it's a much lower temperature. It takes us 15 days total.
This one actually that must take longer than
it does. It takes just about 3 days longer than everyone else does. And we do 12 days for primary fermentation, and then we let it go through a full 3 days of malolactic at the end of it. So so it goes through a full mallow conversion at the end. That is an old technique with tequila. It's not something that we added. It used to be done all the time, and there are a couple of brands that do it a little bit now. I don't know of a lot of brands that will spend a full 3 days letting it go through a full malolactic conversion like we do. But that adds more texture. It adds an undertone of more complexity and different flavors. Sometimes you get a little bit of butteriness or a little bit of cheesiness as like an underlying supportive element to it. And that's just something that's a small piece to it. It's a way for us to give another nod to tradition, and also introduce complexity and better texture into our tequila.
Very cool.
We really thought about all of the things
clearly
we do that way. We have a lot of intention about why we did it. We didn't just change it for the sake of being different. I think that's an easy thing to do. Anyone can just make something different. But our intention was to make something different that is also better, that shows off more aromas and flavors that are in agave. And all the things that you taste from our tequila come from the plant itself. And that's really what the difference is in our cooking process and our fermentation process is they show all these different aromas and flavors that are in the plant that other processes and other types of fermentation don't show.
So when you're fermenting, what kind of tanks are you guys using?
So we, like I said, we wanted to use wooden tanks because it's traditional, but also wooden tanks give a better flavor profile.
What are
and more
those?
complexity.
What kind of wood are those made out of?
So traditionally, those tanks are made from a type of pine tree that grows in Michoacan, which is the state that is south of Jalisco. And they're made by all the tanks are made by artisans down in Michoacan. We built 3 of them. We had to custom build our own tanks. There are no temperature controlled wooden tanks in Mexico, so they didn't exist. And the only way for us to ferment the way we wanted to perform fermentation was to use chilled tanks that literally have a cold water running through them, so you control the temperature during the whole process. So we took 25,000 liter stainless steel tanks. We jacketed them on the outside. Then we put coils in the middle of it. And then the guys from Michoacan came to our distillery and built the wooden tanks inside of those tanks. Awesome. And they're about 2.5 times the size of a normal wooden tank. 10,000 liters is about as large as you can get them made. So we had them constructed for twice the size. So we ordered 25-foot staves to be made, and had the guys at the distillery for about 4 months to build all of our tanks.
That's awesome.
So 3 of them were built out of Mexican pine, and we built another 3 of them out of American white oak from Tennessee. So we built them 5 years ago, and I think that we were the first ones to actually perform fermentation in American oak. It produces completely different aromas and flavors than using the traditional pine. And that's one of the neat things that we discovered is you can change a couple of steps along the way and make different styles of tequila. And using different woods for fermentation is it's in a similar way that you would use different woods for aging. You can actually produce different aromas and flavors by changing the fermentation wood. So
very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, those are things I didn't know you could do. So that's an awesome thing. How did you even come up with this idea to even do this? I mean, I don't know how you come up with this. Like possessed, she's like, hey, this would be a good idea. Let's make this out and see what happens.
I toured probably 15 or 20 different distilleries. Looking for a partner to make it. But also, I wanted to learn about all the details and why everyone chose to do it. And we toured everybody from Fort de Leza Ocho and G4 all the way up to Don Julio and Herradura. And I asked a lot of questions, why do you make this choice? Or, why do you use this yeast? Or why do you use wood instead of using stainless steel? And really through that process got a really good understanding of the reasons why everybody makes the choices they do. And then I combine that with my own natural creativity and really just looking at the process and wondering if we wanted to do this piece of the process differently, how would we approach it? Like I knew that I wanted to do fermentation different. That was the very first thing that I thought about. I thought that, fermenting at a really high temperature is going to influence the way that things are complex, and it's going to influence the way you can express flavor. So changing temperature of fermentation and changing yeast is a really important way to do that. I thought about the cooking piece of it, wondering how could we cook it differently. We thought about the farming piece of it, wondering how we could farm differently. And I just sat down with every part of it, and I made a list of all the things that I wanted to do differently. One of the things we do is we don't perform any chill filtering, so all of the natural oils and fats are present in our tequila. A normal tequila brand, if they didn't filter out the fats and then you froze a bottle of it, the fats would separate, and you would end up with a little white particulates floating inside of it.
The beautiful cloudy mess.
We've tested ours to 20 degrees below zero, and you can't separate the fats out of our tequila.
Holy crap!
Awesome. It's one of the side effects from doing a longer, slower fermentation. It builds longer protein chains, and so it holds the fats in solution in a different way. And so we're able to leave in, and you get the natural weight and texture from our tequila that you don't from regular brands, without us having to add. Normally you would add glycerin to it to fix your texture. That's what a diffuser brand would do that has additives in it to create a better texture. So we were able to do that naturally.
That's cool.
This is a side effect of our process.
All right, that's awesome. So what's the proof on these? Are these still going to be 80? Or these
no, we don't bottle anything at 80. So that was really more
even
of a
better answer.
Tequila tastes better than water.
Absolutely,
so
there's no doubt about that.
More tequila in your bottle is going to have more flavor than water does. Also, I wanted to give mixologists and bartenders a starting point. A broader palate to start with. So by giving them something that's a little higher proof, that also has more flavor, that has all the fats inside, they can create cocktails with our tequila that they can't create with a normal brand. And that's one of the things that we're really proud of. We've seen 40 or 50 different cocktails now all over the country.
That's impressive.
That they can only make with Cambio. They're Cambio specific drinks. And you can't just substitute out another tequila. So that's one of the things that we're really proud of.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So everything we do is all of our flagship line is 92 proof. And they don't drink like it. I think they drink really soft and pretty. They drink really easy. And that was one of the tricks that we figured out, is we could make a higher proof tequila that was really approachable and was really soft and easy to drink. So it was kind of a neat thing that we were able to pull off.
Okay. Awesome. See, Donald says my dream job restaurant would be a saucier in an old school 1960s place in line. There you go. Cool. And John, is there cuts in tequila? Because we haven't gotten to distillation yet, but we can certainly talk about that.
Sure.
But do you guys use pot stills, or what kind of?
Yeah, so we use copper pot stills.
Okay.
Using copper is important. Again, roughly 10% of tequila is distilled in copper. So it's a small percentage that's actually distilled in copper. Okay. But it's an important step. Distilling with copper, there's a chemical reaction between the vapor and the copper, and it pulls sulfites out of the distillate. Okay. Taking the sulfites out of the distillate naturally also produces a softer, creamier style of tequila. It makes it more pleasing and easier to drink. And so copper is more expensive, more difficult to maintain, but it does have an actual difference on the quality of the distillate that's coming out. So we certainly wanted to use copper, both because it's traditional and also because it actually makes better tequila. So that was one of the things that was important for us. So we used just copper pot stills.
Okay. And is it cut? Are there cuts in tequila as far as? Okay.
So yeah, there are normally cuts. Okay. So what they'll do is a normal brand will remove 3 to 5% of the heads, and that's really depending on the quality of their base spirit and the quality of their fermentation. I know of at least 4 or 5 different distilleries where they don't have to remove the heads because they're starting off from a better place.
Interesting. Was even possible.
Actually, I learned that from Felipe Camarena that makes G4.
Okay.
He taught us that. He's like, you don't have to remove the heads if your tequila is better to start with. So when we started distillation, I said, you know what, we're going to make it. We're just going to leave all the heads in. The thing that we do that is different that other brands don't do is, so they normally will distill and run their stills until their blend gets to about 55%, and then they'll stop. Then they will dilute from there down to 40 or 45, whatever they're bottling. Okay. We don't do that. We distill all the way down to 51%. So we run our stills for a lot longer than they do, and we get a lot more tails than they would normally get. We're able to do that again because of our fermentation running the way that it does. Our fermentation naturally produces very low levels of ethanol and methanol. So we can produce a very high quality spirit with all the heads and all the tails in it. So we basically perform no cuts to our tequila. And we still have half the levels of methanol and ethanol that the CRT allows. So very low in good alcohols, very high in esters, and esters and superior alcohols. And it's just one of the side effects of doing it the way that we do. So when you get a bottle of Cambio, you're really getting all of our distillate is in the bottle. And because we distill down to 51 and we bottle at 46, we put a tiny amount of water in the bottle. So a normal bottle of tequila that goes from 55 to 40 is roughly a third water. And our version has basically like 6% water added to it. So it's really small.
Okay. Hey, there, Richie. Good to see you there as well. So what makes your Reposado special? So you have some other cool barrel things going on.
Yeah, so we use 3 different barrel types in our Reposado, and there's different finishing to those barrels. So we'll use French oak from Bordeaux and Burgundy. We'll do it. It's roughly a 50-50 blend of those 2 woods for 1 month first.
Okay.
After that, we put it into French oak that we've reconditioned. So we'll take French oak barrels, we'll scrape them out, and we'll retoast them. So we retoast them to a medium wine toast, which is like a 1 millimeter toast on the inside the barrel. So it isn't charring the way the whiskey is. It's a gentle toast. And then we'll put a Reposado first and second fill into those barrels. So it's a way for us to add a little bit of color, but more importantly, body and structure and flavor. So that our Reposado is a total of 6 months old, but it drinks like a baby añejo more than a normal Reposado would. And really, that's intentional. It was a stylistic choice that I wanted to make. I didn't want to make a Reposado that was very close to the Blanco. I wanted to make something that was squarely in the middle of our Blanco and our añejo. And that's just the way that I wanted to do it. Doing it the other way is fine. We wanted to make something that was different, and I think a really beautiful quality. So
really spectacular.
I like it. So 6 months, 3 different barrels, and that's our everyday flagship. Buy it at the store all day long repo. So one of the things that I think is important to understand about our brand is that we made a lot of really good choices along the way, and we have a lot of intention and a lot of quality we built into our brand. I don't know of another repo that's $59 on a store shelf that uses 3 different barrels.
I didn't even know it was even a thing. Let alone that it was possible.
So I think that we deliver a really beautiful, complex product that is actually reasonable for most everybody to be able to buy. So
absolutely,
it's something that we spend a lot of time on and something we really care about a lot.
Definitely. It's pretty amazing.
That's yummy.
Definitely. I'll put that over there just for the moment. Make a blend here because I like to make blends when we're done. Because blends are fun. All right, so the añejo now.
So our añejo is the idea of our Reposado, but a lot more intention and more time. So it's 3 different barrel types. So just so we're all on the same page, an añejo, it just has to be more than 12 months in barrel. So as soon as you get to 1 year, on the 366th day, it is an añejo and you can bottle it. That's all that has to be done, is to leave it inside of any kind of a barrel for 1 year. And then brands generally charge 50% more for that. I think that brands that just stick it in one barrel, leave it there for a year, take it out and bottle it, are doing it a fairly easy way. It doesn't take a lot of time or effort to just put something inside of a 30-year-old Jim Beam barrel and leave it there for a year and then bottle it, and then charge consumers 50% more money for it. If you were going to buy a bottle of whiskey that was 7 years old instead of 6, and the 7-year-old version cost 50% more, you'd be pretty upset. So I think charging that much extra just because it spent 1 year in a barrel isn't really a good service to consumers. So we decided to approach our añejo differently, and we do it in 3 different barrel types, different ages in those barrels, and then different finishes in each of the barrels. So roughly 60% of it is a blend of 2-year-old tequila that is in our French oak barrels in 3rd and 4th fill. So after our Reposado is done, we use those barrels for our 2-year-old añejo. So again, we're using our Reposado to condition barrels for other things.
Very cool.
Then 30% of it goes into French oak that we've scraped out, and there's no toast at all. So it actually goes inside of a raw wood cask. And that's something I haven't heard of. I haven't heard of or seen a lot before. But a raw wood cask imparts completely different flavors than a toasted or a charred barrel would.
Interesting.
And it's in those barrels for 13 months. So it's 2 years and 13 months so far. And then the last 10% of the blend goes into limousine cognac casks with their natural finish on the inside. So no modification. Those barrels are 30 years old, so they're really, really old barrels. They've been used for cognac for a long time. And we leave it in those barrels for 15 months. Wow. So it's a blend of 2-year-old, 13-month, and 15-month-old tequila all put together. Okay. So it's an average of 19 months old.
Wow. That is spectacular. Yeah, there's no añejo that I've never had remotely. Take the Rosado. They taste nothing like any tequilas. They're just fabulous. Yeah, these are definitely, I would say, whiskey drinkers tequilas that you will love the complexity of these. Ones I would highly recommend you guys picking up. You can find them. If not, you can get them online.
Yeah, I think our barreling process is interesting. One thing that we're really careful of all the time is that everything needs to be tequila first, and then the barrel part is second.
Okay.
A lot of the times you'll get older tequilas, añejos that are 2 or 3 years old,
okay,
and they'll be very, very heavy on barrel influence, and they'll lose more of that tequila specialness.
Right.
And that's an easy thing to do. You just leave it in the barrel for a month too long, and you can turn and go past it.
Yeah.
And tequila needs to be tequila first. If you want to drink whiskey, then drink whiskey.
Makes sense.
Tequila should not taste like whiskey.
Right.
There's no point in a plant growing in the ground for 8 years.
Yeah, it's going to taste like whiskey.
And everybody's spending all the time and effort that it takes to create tequila just to make it turn into whiskey. So I think the use of barrels and the way that you approach it is really important. And we have 15 different barrel types in our distillery, and we use all of them in different ways. But one thing we understand is the limit that we can leave tequila in the barrel to keep its tequila-ness, and to not let it turn into whiskey. So, and every barrel type and every barrel, we've got barrels that are 40 years old, some that are 30 and 20 years old. So they're generally all used barrels, mostly French oak. We always are very, very conscious and very careful to make sure that we retain all of the agave, and it just doesn't turn into whiskey. So
yeah, it's spectacular stuff. Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't. We've been sold out of añejo for a couple months now, so there isn't very much left.
Well, the good news is that we'll have some tonight. So of course, our liquor partner, Noctis Liquor, is our buddy Andy, a retail partner. He will definitely have it for you guys to take care of you. If you are in the DFW area, he has that at his store for you.
Yep, he's got a little bit.
Yes, until probably tonight. Then he probably won't have it anymore. But as of now, it's still there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. What should we move on to next?
We could do one of our cellar series.
Let's do that.
Or do you want to do the coffee liqueur? What do you think? Cellar series first?
Probably cellars makes sense.
All right,
the
cool.
coffee one's going to probably
overpower our red labels. These are our labels are all handmade Amate paper. So they come from the state of Puebla.
Okay.
And the Spaniards taught the Pueblans how to make paper roughly 500 years ago. So our labels are made with the same technique and the same trees that they used back then. They have a fast-growing tree with a loose, soft fiber, so it's good for making paper. Okay. And these are our normal labels are just the white natural finish for the flagship line. Our cellar series always has a red label on it, and it's dyed the color of the soil of Jalisco. It's that really rusty red color.
Very cool.
It's dyed with a flower and a berry that they have that grows there, so it's all naturally dyed.
Very nice.
And the cellar series are all one-time expressions. So we make every version we make once. It has a name and a number behind why we made it, a story, an explanation of why it exists. And then when it's sold and it's gone forever. It'll never ever be replicated ever again.
Wow.
So we've released 3 of them last year, kind of towards the middle of the end of last year. And then we've got 2 or 3 more coming out this year.
Nice.
And sometimes they'll be sold. We might do 1 barrel of something special. And we'll sell that to one of our really strong retail partners, and they'll have an exclusive for it. We did it with Sip Tequila in Florida with 1 version earlier this year.
Cool.
So, but they're all special. So anytime that you see one, it's always great to grab it. We keep a small amount of a couple of cases of each one held back in a library, in a library series. But this particular version is called El Corazon. And the initial idea behind creating this was that we wanted to see if the flavor profile would be different when we change the level of sugar that we
Okay.
start at fermentation.
Okay.
So normally a regular brand with the yeast that they use would start fermentation in the 8 to 9 degrees Brix range. Okay. So that's the amount of sugar that's inside of your liquid.
Okay.
Our flagship line, our normal version, starts around 12 to 13. So we start at a higher sugar level than other brands do. And we wanted to see what would happen if we pushed that further. So we started this one at almost 20 degrees Brix. So very, very high sugar level, very sweet mosto. And we fermented it at a really low temperature. It took about 2.5 weeks total fermentation. So a little bit longer than normal. But what we discovered is that changing the sugar level produces a different tequila. It actually makes a chemically different style of tequila with different phenols and different aromas in it. So by combining our yeast that can handle a higher sugar level and a lower temperature for a longer period of time, you can actually create different flavors in tequila, and you can show off different parts of the plant. And then when we were distilling it, Grover from Tequila Matchmaker was inspecting our distillery. I mean, all of our stuff is all certified, additive free, and stuff like that. In the old way, not in the new way where you just tell people it's certified. But we actually had it tested. Yeah, he came and inspected the whole distillery.
That's cool.
But we were distilling this version when he was there.
Okay.
And so we were tasting it, and he was there for I think 3-4 hours total. But we were distilling the hearts of it when we were sampling it. And the heart of the distillation just had all sorts of aromas and flavors that were very different from what you would normally see in tequila. And we were both really excited about it and kind of geeking out about why it tasted this way and where did the aromas come from and how we fermented it and all that kind of stuff. So I had the idea at the time that maybe we should bottle only the hearts, that we would actually remove all of the heads and all of the tails, only bottle the middle of it, and just bottle it at still strength. So we did that. So we tossed about half of our volume, bottled just the heart of it, and it's bottled at 100 proof. And usually you get a lot of your aromas and flavors will come between your heads and your tails. And the heart of it is really this kind of the supporting element of all your tequila. And we thought it was interesting to see how complex this was by only using the hearts and all the flavors that it had. So it's really neat. It's also
really good.
Consumers, we never get to see what a part of tequila tastes like. So we also thought it'd be kind of a neat way to show everybody that this is just what the middle of the distillation tastes like.
That's so cool.
So it came out of a special batch and then out of a special distillation technique at the same time.
Cool.
And we did a little bit of barrel time on it just for about a month in very neutral barrels. So there's a tiny bit of influence there, but not really very much. And then bottled it. This is 100 proof. So this is right out of the still at 100. So
very nice.
But yeah, really neat. All kinds of complex aromas and flavors, and
that's wild.
There is a tiny amount of this left. I mean, here and there in different places, but not much. So,
yeah, nothing like that ever before either.
No way.
Just delicious.
When you honestly look at the process of creating tequila, and think about different ways to approach that process, you're going to be able to create different styles and different aromas and flavors in your tequila than what has been done before. If you approach it intending to do it at a very high level, intending to create new flavors, and also intending to be respectful of all the tradition that comes before making tequila, you can really make some beautiful things. I think a lot of mezcal nerds always criticize tequila, saying that it all tastes the same. I've heard this, hundreds of times.
Sure, I can only imagine.
And I
this
think
one
that,
sure as hell does.
And I think that's really the way that you can show people that tequila is much more diverse than people think that it is by changing some of your production techniques.
Yeah, makes total sense.
And just doing small changes along the way that can really show off some new flavors and new aromas to it. So tequila is much broader and much more complex than I think that most people give it credit for. And we certainly haven't explored all of the ways that you can influence flavor in tequila.
Imagine,
without using additives, you can actually do it honestly, and be transparent about it, and you can do it in a great way, and you can create all these different complexities, without putting bullshit inside of it. So because there's no reason for anything.
No, that's what.
It's just to fix your shitty tequila. If your tequila was good, you wouldn't need to put it inside.
Right. That's what exactly.
That's gonna get a letter from somebody.
That's okay. And what I always tell companies, if it's a shitty product, do better. It's that simple. If I don't like it, it's probably because it's shitty.
Yeah.
So it's not my fault you made a terrible product.
Yep.
you fix that by making a better product. Problem solved. All the other ones, Richie, are 92. This one's 100.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are higher proof, but they don't taste like it. But man, they are delicious. I think you'd certainly enjoy them, Richie. They're quite delicious.
Yeah, we'll never have like a 110 proof or something like that because we just still pass that. So
sure,
the highest proof you'll ever see from us is going to be maybe a 100, maybe a 101, something like that. That's really about all we're ever going to be able to do.
That's cool.
If we do something in barrel, because we always evaporate alcohol faster. So for a barrel for us, the most you'll see is going to be maybe 98, 99.
Okay.
So right around there.
Made a blend of the three. It's just, the coffee one will be very, very different. So we might add it at the end, but I think it'll take just small amounts. Yeah, so I guess that's the next question. Is there any chance for a barrel proof strength? This basically is the barrel proof strength because of that.
Yeah. We actually, so when we made the Corazon version, we did a Blanco with half of the production, and we took the other half of the production and put it in 2 different casks.
Okay.
So we have a double barrel version of Corazon.
Oh, that's cool.
Coming out. We can't call it Corazon anymore. Sazerac sent us a letter and said you can't use
because
the name
of their brand. Yeah.
So they sent us a cease and desist letter. So I said, okay, we'll withdraw it. We'll change it. So we just named it the Hearts. We call it the Hearts Barrio. So that'll be coming out. That'll be one of the ones we're releasing this year.
Okay.
It'll probably be in Texas. It's on the way from Mexico right now.
Oh, it's right now. Okay, so very soon you guys will get it.
It'll be here for Christmas.
Very cool.
And we wrote on the back of the label, we used to call this El Corazon, but Sazerac doesn't have to anymore.
That's
so
awesome. I love it.
Just as a small playful nod so that people know it really is Corazon.
Oh,
but
that's
we
funny
can't
as
name it
shit.
that anymore. So but I respect them as a company and their tequila and everything else and all that jazz, but
it wasn't.
I knew when we named it that we might get the letter.
Sued, yeah.
It took a while, it took them about a year to send it to us,
funny.
and we had sold it all by the time they finally sent it. So
it's nice. Fuck you to Sazerac. So good job.
Yeah, a nice gentle one.
Nice.
Nothing too bad. But
just to the lawyers. The rest of them are nice.
Yeah, the company's great. The lawyers, the lawyers are lawyers, so they're
already know they suck. Exactly. It's a given. It comes with a job. They're all terrible humans. It's fine.
That's funny. So
this I'm super excited because Bo was talking about this. So
tell me all
about this.
So this is I think one of the things that's important about our company in general is that we've always planned to grow into a Mexican spirits company, not just a tequila company.
Okay.
And what we do is we always look for places in the market that we think need a push or some disruption or just a flat out revolution, right?
All right.
Like we think tequila needs to be shaken up, so we made a brand that spends a lot of time and effort trying to shake it up. So I also think that coffee liqueurs are generally not very good. I think that
you would generally be correct.
That most coffee liqueurs suffer from one of 3 problems or all of them. They're either too high in sugar and syrupy, they don't have enough coffee, or they don't have enough ABV. So
all seems fair to me.
So we decided to fix all of that stuff with one really, really beautiful product.
Oh, this is exciting.
And in keeping with the way that we approach everything, we didn't just want to, take a coffee extract and stick it inside of it. We decided to make our own coffee for it.
Okay.
So Mexican coffee is beautiful. Now, Americans don't really have a good connection with Mexican coffee because Mexicans actually drink a lot of their coffee, and there isn't a lot of it that's brought to the U.S. So my favorite coffee in Mexico is from Chiapas. It's the southernmost state in Mexico. It borders Guatemala. It's all mountainous and jungle and beautiful and yada yada. It's amazing. So we decided that we were going to make a single origin coffee liqueur. So all the coffee comes really from one geographic location.
Okay.
And then because our Blanco is the base, and because we're blending it with a 51% alcohol, we don't have a lot of volume because we wanted to keep the proof on this higher.
Sure.
So we needed to find a way to make a really, really strong coffee base.
Okay.
So we invented, modified a couple different processes.
Okay.
So we basically created a new way to make cold brew. We built the largest French presses in the world. They're 1,500 liters each. They should be in Guinness Book of World Record by next year.
That's cool.
And so what we do is we do a warm infusion first. And then we take that liquid that's a really, really strong coffee. Think of like the strength of like Turkish coffee. It's really strong. We do all this is done unfiltered. We pump that into a cold tank, and then we make a 40-hour cold brew with new grounds after that. So we're creating a coffee that's very dense in flavor, but doesn't have any bitterness to it, and is very, very high in oils and aromas and density and texture. And then we blend that with our Blanco tequila, and then we add a tiny bit of sugar from Veracruz. So it's a single origin sugar also, and we use natural cane sugar that's just crystallized sugar. And we blend those three things together, and that's all that's inside of it. And like I said, we bottle it unfiltered, so there's a little bit of sediment in the bottom of it. That's natural. It's to be transparent and to show everybody kind of the way that we approach all these different things. So it has about 25% of the sugar of a normal liqueur. So it's very, very light in the sweetness, and that's because we don't need a lot of sugar to make the quality of product that we're making. We're not trying to cover up a bad coffee extract, or we're not trying to cover up a bad base spirit. So we don't need that much sugar to it. So very low in sugar, very high in coffee, and also it's a full 80 proof, so it's a full ABV.
Nice.
When it leaves Mexico, it's not even a liqueur by law. It's actually an agave spirit because its proof is too high to be considered a liqueur.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Does that
matter by country or?
Every country.
You've got some other products like 110 proof.
Yeah.
Certain ones from France that might be like that.
Yes. So different countries have different rules on it. But,
interesting.
Yeah, but it's really nice and beautiful and dark, and it's got tons of aroma and flavor to it. And it has this great mix of spice box and like cinnamon and clove and things like that. And then this beautiful undertone of like medium cocoa. And really the all of these different complexities are from the coffee and the tequila itself. We don't flavor it with anything. We don't infuse it with anything. It really is just beautiful coffee and tequila and a tiny bit of sugar, and that's it. So I think it's something that's going to help redefine the category a little bit.
That's awesome.
So it's really, really nice.
So John also wants, he goes on your website. He says, are you guys going to possibly sell a combo pack to try you guys' products by chance?
We do. Yeah, we're actually working on a special deal, and on the site now you can buy any order of 3 bottles or more is free shipping to it. And there is going to also be a combo pack of, it's going to be like 2 bottles of tequila of any of the 2, and then 1 bottle of Peral.
Because this is a brand new product. Like
this is brand new. Yeah, we made 500 cases of it. We brought it into the country and we sold it in 4 weeks. So we've been out for the last few weeks. So
we're very lucky to have this, and I knew it was coming as like some of the first ones to try this outside the distiller. So we're very excited.
We've got awesome. There's 2,000 cases on the way. It'll be here in a couple days. So.
Good. That's the good news. So you can get.
We did it as a test just to see how the market was going to respond to it, and it went pretty well. So
I would love to mix this like some vanilla bean ice cream or something.
Oh, totally! It actually makes you can make beautiful old fashions with this. So you can make a coffee old fashioned with half Peral and half bourbon or rye. Muddle a little bit of orange in it, and then add either like a tiki bitters because all the warm spices are really pretty. And then make a gorgeous coffee old fashioned with it. It's a really nice little nightcap to it.
This stuff's dangerous. I like this, like as a White Russian or something, would be amazing. Yeah, that's. Yeah, it's everything you don't like about the other ones. It made it the most perfect way you could possibly make it. The coffee liqueur.
And again, a lot of intention, a lot of thought. A lot of heritage and tradition. We picked the best sugar in Mexico. We picked the best coffee in Mexico. We picked the best tequila in Mexico. And just put these 3 things together in a really normal, natural way.
Yeah, absolutely.
With good creativity and a good sense and good intention.
So what's the price point on all these two? And just in general, get people an idea of whatever
our Blanco normally runs about $45 to $49 in the store. So similar price to any of our normal competitors. Any high quality Blanco that's additive free is going to be somewhere between $40 and $50 a bottle. So, and then we live right in that space. Our Reposado is $10 more, so in the 50 to 60 range. Our Añejo is $75, which I think is honestly really special. For most brands, the amount of intention we put into this Añejo, this would be a rare one-off bottling that they would do, and they would sell it for $200 a bottle.
Right. It's better.
And then our coffee liqueur is in the low 30s to mid 30s, range. So.
And then your specialty,
all the red labels are usually about $100.
Okay, so all super reasonable.
Right, cool. And again, our goal is to bring really beautiful tequila to people, not to rip them off. We want people to
love it.
have special bottles of our spirits in their homes
Yeah.
that they know are special, but they
Right.
actually want to share with people. Now,
That's
you've always
the
got
biggest thing,
you
is
always
share
have the
with people.
cousin that walks over and grabs your bottle, and you wince. You're like, oh, not that one, dude. And so we
Let's
have
put the fake stuff in.
yeah we and that's why everybody you put all the you'll always put your Michter's 15-year, your 10-year underneath the shelf, right?
Right.
And so we thought it's important to bring really high quality spirits, even our
Okay.
rare versions, where it's a
That's
special
sweet,
bottle for
yeah.
most people, but it's not gonna be half your mortgage. You're not gonna have to, you don't have to give up a car payment
Yeah. For real.
to get a special bottle, and then you can actually enjoy it and you can share it with friends.
Yeah,
It doesn't
absolutely.
make you wince when you do it. So
Yeah, if your highest thing is $100, I mean, you really can't beat that. And it's this super duper specialty product that
Yeah.
you're not going to get anywhere else ever. Yeah, that's a steal of a deal. Oh, yeah, it's fabulous stuff.
oh, that's yummy.
All right. What else should people know about you guys' products?
I don't think if I say it, it's going to sound really fucking arrogant. But,
Say whatever you want.
I think that we've spent a lot of time and effort creating a brand and creating a set of things to bring to consumers that with a level of intention and intensity and quality and honoring heritage and tradition and transparency. That it's been a long time since a brand like this has come along, and
Nothing like this.
and
at all.
that's combined with all the things that we do that are special and
Absolutely.
unique in the way that we approach all of our different things that we create. I think we've got something that's honestly really special and really unique. So I think the world of tequila is changing a lot. It has changed a lot in the last few years.
Sure.
It's going to continue to change more as more
Right.
people are educated about drinking real tequila.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that's going to be really important. And brands like ours and some of our friends that make high quality tequila, these
Sure.
are the things that we should all be drinking every day in our life.
Totally agree.
We don't need to drink more than we're drinking now. We just have to drink better.
Better. Absolutely.
and
Quality
so-
is the key here.
Yeah. No one needs a $20 bottle of diffuser made additive free tequila.
No.
It's not something that has to live in our life.
Richie wants to know, is it available in California yet?
It is. There are some stores that have it in California. We have a small presence in California. We don't have like our own active team running there. There
Okay.
are some stores
Okay.
that have it. A few in LA, a few in San Diego. I know there's one up in Dry Creek Valley.
Okay.
But we haven't. We don't have a distributor in California, so we
Good
haven't.
reason.
We haven't pushed and done a whole huge push in it yet. That'll be something coming up probably next year.
Okay.
But we ship to California, so that's easy. We can always buy it there.
Yeah. So if you can't find Richie, just look online and grab
Yeah.
it that way.
I know that Old Town Tequila and Remedy are two stores that sell it, and they'll ship it inside of California. So
Perfect. Well, this is awesome. Yeah, like this is everything I know. Is most of us are whiskey nerds. Like, so this is all your whiskey nerd things. It checks all the boxes on the tequila side of that. So yeah, for every freaky thing you can possibly have, yeah, they do all that and then some. So I'm sure they'll be back again with all sorts of cool experiments in the future. So
absolutely,
looking forward to all this stuff. And this was awesome.
my pleasure.
John, appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks
Thanks for
very
having
much.
me. It was
All
really
right.
great, amazing.
We'll see you guys. So if you are in town and you somehow don't have a ticket yet this evening, there might be a handful left. Come down to the Whiskey Castle. Check us out. You got about an hour out, about 45 minutes before this masterclass starts. So
Yeah, we took a while.
if not, that's all right. You'll have to just learn about it on the show and check it out from there. And we'll see you guys later this evening. Cheers.
Night, everybody.